You really want to sweat? It's time to twist, bend, and flex. Good boy. Come on, Spen. Hey everybody, it's week 7 training for the Dopey Challenge. If you want to learn more about it, the other races and challenges, head over to rundisney.com. I'll put a link in the description box below. It's a great excuse to stay at Disney for a long weekend or even a week. There you have it, my secret's out. Before I started running, I never got to stay there because it's right around the corner. But I'm not going to make it to the hotel, and I'm not going to cross that finish line if I don't put in the miles. I mean, this is much more than just throwing on a pair of shoes and hitting the road. If only. I mean, the puzzle that is running has revealed itself over the past 2.5 years. And 3 of the key pieces are warm-up, stretching, and cool-down. You ignore them at your own peril. So because this is an easy week and I've got 2 45-minute maintenance runs and 3 miles at the end of the week, I'm going to break down my routine into 3 sections. If you put it all together, this is what I do every morning without fail. Let me put my cup of coffee inside. Let's get started. It's time to kick things off, or I should say jump things off, with a hop. Sometimes I like to shoot the hoops. That's from my P90X plyo days. In fact, a lot of this is a mashup of things I've learned over the years, things that just work for me. From that, I go into a high knee or runner's hop, about 15 seconds per side. In fact, everything's either 15 to 20 reps or 15 seconds. It's time for standing hip rotation, and this targets a real problem area for me. I can actually feel some crunchiness in my upper thigh as I move my left knee up and out. That's from old scar tissue. It's really a bunch of muscles known as the hip flexors. So that's why I also go right into a static stretch known as the runner's lunge. Now, at this point, you can actually put your hand on your knee and bend back a little bit, almost like a yoga pose. Remember, I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not a coach, just learning like everyone else. This is stuff that's kept me injury-free over the past year and a half. Now it's time to pour on the sweat, heat up those leg muscles, and do some deep lunges. Now you don't want to go so deep that you actually hurt yourself. Feel the stretch, feel the flex. This is dynamic warm-up. I do about 30 reps back and forth across the driveway. From the lunges, I move right into standard straight leg or sumo squats. This targets your glutes, hamstrings, quads, even your calves to heat up your legs and get you ready for your run. So pop a squat. Hi-ho! Happy says the sun's up. It's time to get moving.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Workout started.
A little after 7 a.m., run number 19, 81 degrees. Add that all together, 107. And it feels like it with the sun beating down on me. My first injury happened right out of the gate, so to speak, literally 6 weeks after I started running. I was only 6 weeks into a training plan. I was going along just fine, and I felt a pop in my groin. It was a muscle tear. I mean, instant pain. And that popped me out of my running shoes for 4 months. All I could do was walk and do some strength training, which actually did help in my recovery. That injury happened where I had had a double hernia operation, and it's the core. It's one of the most important areas for us. It's where your abs and your upper thighs and the muscles in your hips and your glutes, they all kind of come together and they keep you going, they keep you upright. I had ignored the key tenets of our training plan: warm up and stretching. I was running late, I wanted to get out the door, so I figured I'd just walk the first half mile. Big mistake. Another thing that contributed to that injury, I was pushing myself way beyond where I needed to be at the time. I was only a month and a half into running, and I was determined to do a 10K. My body was not ready for that. It's the reason why these training plans are long and incremental. I mean, we should always challenge ourselves, but you've got to know your limits. And now for something different, a short Q&A. I'm going to do this from time to time if I get an interesting comment or a series of related questions, and that's exactly what happened after my camera video. Rob and a number of other people want to know how I carry this thing around with me for an entire marathon, and if Disney security has ever mistaken this or this as a selfie stick. Hey Rob, let me show you my waist pack. This thing is huge, and you can see it fits my GoPro gimbal inside, my smartphone, a lot of other stuff. It does get a bit heavy, but it's comfortable. I picked it up on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description below. Disney security has never mistaken this as a selfie stick. Now, selfie sticks have to extend. They have to telescope 3 to 6 feet beyond your hand. This thing is about 6 to 8 inches off my fingers, and it stays within my personal bubble. I have used this for every single one of the Run Disney races that I've participated in, and you can see that in my race recaps. Plus, I've taken this into all 4 of the theme parks. Here's what I would do. Take my advice. If you're going to use a GoPro gimbal or maybe a handle on your smartphone or your point and shoot, head on over to the Run Disney booth when you're picking up your bib at the HP Fieldhouse and just ask them, is this okay? I do it every time, and so far so good. They want us to get video, they want us to get pictures, and they want us to share. They just want us to do it respectfully and safely. Now it's time for part 2 of my routine and the second run of the week. I've already warmed up with those lunges and squats. Now let's slow things down with a wide leg hamstring stretch. Remember that 15 to 20 second rule. Feel the stretch. There's nothing like it at sunrise. From the hamstrings, I move into a squatting adductor stretch. It's kind of a hero pose. Again with the groin. I'm terrified I'm going to hurt myself again. Remember, you have 2 sides. After going back to the hamstrings briefly, I crawl into a plank. This is something I added recently. 20 seconds to start, I'm now up to a minute. This is kind of like doing a moving yoga session. From plank, I can go right into downward dog. Remember to try to put your heel as close to the ground as possible. You can bend your knees from time to put a little extra into the stretch. Thank you. Even the coach likes to join me for this part. There you go. Time for one more 1-minute plank. I'm really loving this core work because I'm starting to feel it and see it. I'm going to leave the camera behind for my midweek run so I can work on my pacing a bit. For my second plank, I like to go into another hamstring stretch, but it's not as deep as a hammy stretch. It's more shallow, kind of like a toe touch. I really like this one because it helps with my lower back and my middle back, which take a beating because of the way I have to sit to see things. I stay standing for the last dynamic and static stretches of the routine. Now remember, 15 to 20 reps per side or 15 to 20 seconds. I move right into a standing quadricep stretch. Try to grab under your ankle. If you can't, you can grab your sock or maybe the bottom of your shoe. You want to stand straight with your knees together and your leg near your butt. From there on the same leg, I do a knee to chest hold. This targets the glutes and the hamstrings. Now, if you're having problems with shin splints and calf cramps, you want to do ankle circles. This was something I also learned from P90X. You want to do 10 clockwise, and then another 10 counterclockwise, followed by toe pointers. Really feel the stretch. Feel it in your ankle, in your foot, in your shin, and in your calf. Feeling good. Let's finish up the ankle circles and the last run of the week. Have I made this look longer and more complicated than it needs to be? Huh? You know, there may be some unexpected benefits to all this stretching and flexibility. Saw a recent thing on ABC News. They were talking about the fact that yoga can reduce the need for pain medication if you have back pain. And I haven't been sick, no colds, no flu, in 3 years since I started running.
Workout complete. You did it.
Hey coach, I had a really good week. I actually put in an extra 5K, as you can see, and I'm going to be showing that to you sometime in the near future. Now remember, you never want to go in and just plop down on the sofa after your run. You've got to cool down, which is what I do here in the driveway, finish up my hydration. You can keep me motivated, hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below. What do you think of the stretching? What's your favorite stretching move? I have 2 quick announcements for those of you who've been looking to say hi during the races. Remember, because of the vision loss, it's really hard for me to find anybody in the corral or even stop while I'm out there running on the course because I like to get the video. So during Wine and Dine weekend, I am planning to stay after the half marathon. I'm hoping to do something at the beginning of the after party, details TBD. Plus, Heather from Running with Grace and Laura with Joyful Miles and I will be doing a joint stage production during the Walt Disney World Marathon weekend. I hope they learn their parts. Friday, January 5th on the boardwalk. Under the boardwalk. Details of that, exact place and time, TBD. Coming up next time, we're all becoming Disney dwarfs. Hey Spank, come here. Hi. Hey. Come on.